Hello, everybody, and welcome to Talk Football. Dan and Jesse for the Wednesday night show. Great to have you all here. Thank you very much for tuning in. Anyone who comes across the stream, we're 2 away from 250 subscribers. Please put a subscribe on it. It means a lot to us. We're on our way. So listen, today's show, we're just going to be covering some of the biggest sort of like latest gossip and news that's going on. And really, I think the biggest one is Sir Jim Ratcliffe, murmurs and talk, and a few other consortiums have kind of made mention about purchasing Manchester United. Even a certain Mr. Elon Musk kind of even joked at it. So it's getting around those big numbers. So yeah, we're going to be having a little discussion on that, seeing what we think of what's going on there. Do we think the Glazers will sell? If they're going to sell, when? How much are they going to sell? There's a lot of question marks that surrounding that situation. And then kind of afterwards, we're going to have a little discussion over our kind of thoughts of what's gone on the first 2 game weeks of the Premier League. Anything that was surprised us, shocked us? Do we see anything that's kind of changed our minds? Just go from there, really. So, yeah, before we get started, Jesse, how are you this lovely evening / daytime for you over there?
Doing wonderfully, my friend. How are you?
Fantastic. Yeah, really, really good. Renovations all sorted. So back out of the kitchen and back into the front room, which is great. So yeah, listen, Jesse, you're the expert on this one. Tell me a little bit more about, because I think we've got an article we're going to kind of look over to give us a little bit of background. Somebody's got a little bit more news. And just tell us more about, for those who don't know, who is Sir Jim Ratcliffe and why is he important?
Yeah, I mean, he's the most wealthy person in the UK, I believe, or maybe it's England, but I imagine it's the UK. And he he was born in Lancashire and is, he's been a childhood United fan. He went and actually had put in a bid for Chelsea. This was about a month ago, or three and a half months ago when the bids were coming in. I believe he posted his bid late. So he wasn't actually able to be included in the fit and proper persons test. So ultimately yeah, exactly, Annie. I know, me as well. But he wasn't basically able to be a part of that bid. He got rejected in turn, and he is a potential buyer. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this up is this isn't all about Jim Ratcliffe today. It's not, just like this hopeful thing. The real news is that there are people circling Manchester United for the first time ever. Typically, it's been a bid from here or there. I know PIF, or it wasn't PIF beforehand, but it was a private investment fund of Saudi Arabia, basically, that came in and put $5 million on the table. This was around 3 or 4 years ago, and they failed in the process. The reason why this is relevant is because of the words coming out of his spokesperson, because Jim Ratcliffe doesn't come out and start basically putting his hat in the ring until he has some intention. So I just think it's going to be interesting going forward for United and United fans to be looking at, not since the Saudis bid of $5 billion. That's right, Annie. It's interesting, and this is very out of the norm for someone if they're not, or especially for Jim Ratcliffe, if he's not actually intending to put some form of purchase forward or some sort of plan. So the idea is basically that the whole club isn't going to be up for sale at this moment in time, but the Glazers are putting up stakes for sale, so smaller stakes. I don't know if those include voting rights or what class share those are, but there are good signs. And the fact that he and his spokesperson came out today is good. It's good for Manchester United. So.
Yeah, no, 100%. I know I was a little bit of research myself, and he talked about the shares that are available in Manchester United. You've got A and B shares, which a lot of companies run. In most companies, A shares are the important ones. They're the ones which have influence within a business, voting rights, and decision making within the club. And then B shares are the ones which every Tom, Dick, and Harry can purchase, which are basically go up and down in value. You can pay dividends and the like. Where with Manchester United, it's actually the opposite. B shares are actually the important ones. A shares are the ones which are basically just for dividends and kind of increasing in value. So yeah, it will obviously depend on which shares come up, because not all shares are equal. And Sir Jim Ratcliffe, I'm sure conversations probably would have been had, between lawyers and through intermediaries and parties, suggesting as to whether or not indicating their willingness to sell. and he will be indicating his willingness to buy. It all kind of would have to be kind of teetering as to what could happen, work out whether how much they would sell, if it's going to be like a percentage with a view to then selling the majority and then the whole company as such, or whether or not it would be a case of we would be willing to sell, but it would be the full business in one go, and this is the price that we'd be looking to pay. So yeah, within the article there, it is interesting.
I can read. I don't mind.
Yeah, go through.
Yeah, so I mean, the article just starts, and by the way, this is regurgitated news, obviously through the Athletic, but initially it came from the Times. Can't remember what journalist I should give them credit, but they're out there. They're the first ones to break it because the actual spokesperson spoke to the Times, as you'll see in this article. So Jim Ratcliffe, the British billionaire and chief executive of Ineos, that's how you pronounce it, has expressed an interest in buying Manchester United. United have been owned by the Glazer family since 2005. The Glazers' ownership of Old Trafford Club has come under scrutiny in recent weeks. Recent weeks? I
think there's a typo there. I'm going to say recent decade.
Yeah, I'm going to question that. With protests against them seen at United's opening game of the Premier League season against Brighton and Hove Albion 10 days ago. These are the interesting ones. So if the club is for sale, Jim is definitely a potential buyer, a spokesperson said for Ratcliffe, told the Times. If something like this was possible, we would be interested in talking with a view to long-term ownership. This is not about money that has been spent or not spent. Jim is looking at what can be done now, and knowing how important the club is to the city, it feels like the right time, or the time is right for a reset. So I just think, my thing here is that is his spokesperson of whatever consortium he has, because it will be Jim at the head of it, and it will be a lot of his money, but it will be also Ineos, who is the main culprit, or basically the people who are looking to overtake that consortium of his inner circle. He wouldn't have this coming out if he didn't intend to buy. It just wouldn't happen, in my opinion, because Jim hasn't done this, or Mr. Ratcliffe or Jim Ratcliffe hasn't done anything like this ever from what I've seen. He's typically stayed away from the public eye. I don't know. What do you think, Stan? Or what are you thinking, Dan?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. It's almost, though, it's a little bit like the question. I'm maybe not reading so much into this. This is a little bit more of a case of, from what I'm reading, this isn't me kind of putting water on the fire, but if everybody knows where Manchester United is at the moment with the situation with being Glazers out, so that's obvious. Everybody sees this. So if I'm a journalist and I have the opportunity to speak with a spokesperson of Jim Ratcliffe, who has recently tried to purchase a football club and has actually already bought a football club, obviously in Nice in 2019, asking this question is almost a little bit like saying, would Jim Ratcliffe be interested in purchasing Manchester United? Well, yeah, of course he would. Yeah, of course he would, because he just tried to buy Chelsea. He absolutely would be interested in buying Manchester United. Does it mean that he would? Maybe not. Maybe the situation wouldn't be right. This, for me, is more of kind of someone's asked a question and said, would you be interested in, for an example, would you be interested in signing Frankie de Jong? Yeah, of course we would, if the situation's right. Yes. I'm not giving nailed on. I'm saying yes, on a very basic terms, yes, I would be interested in buying Manchester United. But when you're buying a football club, it's much deeper than just saying, yeah, I would.
Yeah, so just before we bring Pat, and thanks for showing up, by the way, Pat. The one thing I will say is that he never comes in. We've already had the situation where we've had, well, would you like to buy Manchester United? No. Why? Because it's not for sale.
Yeah.
He said this on multiple occasions, so I absolutely don't see why he would come out now and put his hat into the ring if it was a case of, well, he's had no indication that the club was for sale. Pat, how you doing, man?
I'm good, man. How you doing? How are you doing? Thanks for the invite. What's done? Is that a Man United kit you're wearing, Dan?
Hey, see this?
Oh, thank God.
This is a shirt from
thank
when.
God.
This is this was a shirt from when Liverpool were winning more trophies in the 80s and Manchester City were in Division 2.
Oh.
No, I was just wondering. It looked like a United jersey from like an up top. I was like,
No,
wow,
no,
have you already
Crown
switched
Paints,
after
the
2 losses?
80s. A
Yeah,
little
man.
classic one.
No, thank you very much. So who's this fella you guys are talking about? Is he more people who have been linked to United?
Yeah, he's the most viable buyer. I think he's the person that United fans are hoping for the most. But that's why I was kind of saying before you were able to kind of hop on. A lot of the news around United is that there are multiple consortiums or sort of groups circling around this situation, which I think is more encouraging than anything else. But yeah.
Are they gonna sell though? Because the Glazers gonna sell because your club, as much as people might banter them or banter your club, as much as we might point, it's a money maker. I know people in my country who used to buy jerseys before they knew what United was, but that's how they ended up United fans. It's even deep, man. Like if you go in my country, you can go to a village where there's no unfortunately, believe it or not, in my country, there's places where there's no electricity and no radios at all. People are still wearing United jerseys and they know what United is. So you see how deep that is. So I'm pretty sure it's more that they know if they give this up, it's a money maker. And which business or billionaire wants to give up something that makes money like that? Because look at your tours, man. Regardless, you guys are not playing very well. Your tours were packed. And people were already outside the tour place buying jerseys. You know what I mean? Like there was a guy they interviewed who had multiple jerseys bought for the whole family. Like
Bangkok Century
Jesse,
Cup,
like
man.
I know people are, I know people are circling around, but I know Elon Musk was trolling you guys. He always trolls. He's such a troll, but I don't know if somebody's gonna buy you guys. They will maybe eventually. Depends on the fans pushing them out. Maybe the fans will push them out. But Americans are hardcore, man. To push out Americans is not easy. I know Newcastle succeeded with the guy from the English guy.
That's it. Once the Americans get in, they take 2 decades to leave.
No. On a real note, if you actually look at the finances and what's happening at the club, we can go through the sponsorship deals. We went from a 15 million sponsorship deal with Chevrolet down to 40 million. Team viewer 5-year contract on the sponsorship deal, leaving after 1 year, not actually being able to leave, but saying after 1 year, we're done with it. Sleeve sponsors, less money coming in from that. Club on the stock market declining. No European football, not going to get it next season by the looks of it. Like I said, the club's been reduced by half of what it is. So, I mean, it's maybe
I don't hear any negatives here, Jesse. These are all positive. What's the problem?
Sounds amazing. I mean, they're positive for United fans like myself who have already accepted that I need my club to be so far pulled down into the doldrums that is, I like, honestly, if we just keep getting fourth, it's probably the best things rivals could hope for, because then the Glazers would never sell.
Is there a Derby fan? I'm pretty sure if Derby fans are watching this or Derby fans are watching this, are like, is this guy talking about making profit and complaining? You know what I'm talking about? Like, there's clubs out there who are this close to being gone, and United are still able. Look, look, I'm just bantering. I know where the issue is. The issue is the owners seem to think of this of more of a business than a football club. Do you know who's a happy man right now, Dan, sitting at home? What's his name? Ed Woodward. Woodward. That guy is happy because he was blamed for anything and everything. Right now, as it goes, things are working out. But look, Jesse, let's be honest.
He's not as happy as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer.
Yeah, I think the stress is gone, man. And Ed Woodward was a massive issue at the club, dude. I mean, he's probably one of the biggest issues. He was playing football.
He was a calamity, that man. He was an absolute calamity.
I'll let you guys get the banter out of the way, but I'm telling you, like, these are not these stories aren't mistakes. I understand when you get a one here, one there, sort of, oh, well, someone's coming in, PIF or whatever, the Saudi investment fund comes in, and they're like, there was kind of a note, there was something there at one time, but this isn't going away. No. So, and I mean, we'll go through it. We'll go through the whole thing, but I understand, like, it's, as a United fan, you actually can't hope. And as a rival fan, it's almost laughable because you look at United fans and you've heard us talking about this for so long. It's almost impossible. Like, it's impossible to get these lampreys out of your club, because as long as there's blood still there, they're going to keep sucking. You know, they're parasites. That's what they do. Right.
They're like a tick, aren't they? You just can't get them out. But yeah, no, I mean that's it. So yeah, we'll go a bit further down the article and see what there's more to say. So he's made mention that, of course, he would be interested in purchasing the club if they were willing to sell for long-term ownership.
This is all kind of nonsense, to be fair. Like, it just goes over what Avram has said. Oh, it's a disappointing season, he said, after last season, ended in 6th place. For everyone, they're going to work hard next season to get better, yada yada. I mean, no one really cares. Their time is up in United fans' heads. Like, if they're not up in their heads, then that's a completely different story. But I don't know. Like, there's almost too much evidence to kind of like turn away from this. And I do think, I mean, Dan and I have had this conversation a million times. There's almost no way that they don't basically start backing out of this at some point, especially if the money keeps drying up. I don't think it's possible. Now, whether or not we're going back on that now, Dan, now that it's looking like people are actually circling, I don't know. How viable does
it just depends. It depends. It takes a lot, doesn't it? It's having the right people in and available at the time who wish to purchase the club. Timing is everything as well. Is now the right time to buy Manchester United? Not really, because they're not going to be able to influence the club, for a whole year. January, they won't be able to apply any influence. It might be better, to be honest with you. And I think you're in agreement with me that, and this is for Manchester United fans out there, no sale will be quick. Like, this won't be, something like, we look how long it took Chelsea to get their owners in. That was a very different situation, but that was like a forced sale. That was like, you have to sell by a particular date. And it took nearly 5 months for the club to be sold, from February up to May. Eventually, by the time everything was written off and sorted, June, and he got his finger in the door, and then July came round, and then obviously they were slow in the transfer market. Eventually, got up and running then, and they're kind of in and around where they needed to be. We even look at like Hicks and Gillette when Liverpool was purchased. I mean, they had a date where the club had to be sold, or it was going to be issued with an £80 million, basically not the club, but the actual the club, fined by the bank £80 million for defaulting on its own debts, and it took to the last day. There was 12 hours left on the clock for Liverpool to be purchased by FSG, New England Sports Ventures, as they were known at the time. They purchased the club, and that took court orders and everything like that. It's difficult. It's really difficult unless an owner is kind of getting everything that they want when they're selling the club. And the Glazers have been terrible owners. They're going to be terrible sellers as well. They're going to be a pain in the ass. It's not going to be a nice time. Even when the sale happens, it's going to be hurt. It's going to hurt. I think it's going to hurt.
Yeah, and so that's kind of my point. When we've spoken about this, I think that this is a gradual process, and that's what was actually said in the article. Yeah. People read through them, was he's coming in because he wants intention to buy. If Ratcliffe actually purchases any part of Manchester United, it is 100% because he has it in his head. He has a plan for a full takeover. He's not going to invest in Manchester United with these guys owning the. He's going to have a plan to actually take over. Go ahead, Pat.
Can I ask something though? And to the United fans, please don't get touched by this. I'm not trolling. I'm just being serious here. How much power does Ferguson have at the club?
I mean, I assume next to nothing. Like, I don't know, dude. When none of us know, dude.
No, because what I'm trying to say is, from the outside, every time something happens, right? Done. Every time Oli, Mourinho, something happens, it's always a meeting has been called with Ferguson coming in. When is it going to be time when you cut this old man away and leave him away? Couldn't he be part of the issue also, that people are still relying on this old man all the time, saying there's a meeting? Because how many meetings have happened? There's one with the Tottenham. Who was in the car? Ferguson. Why?
It was Ronaldo when Ronaldo came back. Yeah, Ferguson was involved. Yeah. No, I do agree with you. No, I do totally agree with you, because it's the same as Liverpool with Sir Kenny Dalglish. I mean, I know that ultimately, Kenny Dalglish is, King Kenny because of what he did on the pitch and as a manager, from Liverpool. But his influence and came back as a manager even when Liverpool really needed somebody. He has that influence. With Manchester United, the funny thing is, and to be fair, it's how they treat the players. It's an incredible dose of loyalty when ruthlessness should really be required to say, thank you very much, but that's gone. Like we move forward, but that's how the Glazers have kind of allowed things to go because they've not been owners of the club. They've just owned the club, if that makes sense. They've just owned it. So for them, they've just allowed everything to stew and just go wrong. And yeah, that's fine. Yeah, put Ed Woodward in, put, Mike Judge in there and all these, just basically people who don't really know what they're doing. And 17 years later, look where we are. We're looking at a Manchester United team that's conceded 6 goals in 2 games, opening season of the Premier League, and has lost 6 games on the bounce away, conceding nearly 20 goals in the process.
I mean, no one really cares. The truth is, Sir Alex Ferguson.
No one cares. What I'm saying is that's the product of it. No one could see that happening ever.
It's the product of the Glazers.
The product of the Glazers, yes.
So the whole thing with Sir Alex Ferguson, he's absolutely an issue at the club, but he's just a symptom of the bigger issue. And so every time they bring in Sir Alex, traditionally it's been, they're bringing in the big guns. They're bringing in the boss. They're bringing in the gaffer to come in, and he's going to sort things straight. He's going to change the mentality of the dressing room or something. When that whole thing happened with Ronaldo, we were all going, what? Like, how pathetic is that? Like, how bad does that make United look like? And then they always say, well, there was a meeting scheduled on that day anyways. He's going to be there regardless. Last year, when it was Ollie and they were trying to save his job, they said he was scheduled for a suit fitting at Carrington. I mean, it makes absolutely no sense, you guys. No, he's a massive issue, but like I say, he's a symptom. But these are things that will be solved by the Glazers going ultimately. I mean, it's really pretty simple at this point. I mean, Pat hasn't been on a stream with us for when we've been talking about this specifically for a little while. Everything that you can talk about Manchester United leads back to the Glazers at this point. For any reasonable Manchester United fan, there's nothing more to really talk about Manchester United because it always leads back to the Glazers. Was Maguire shit the other day? Yes. Was Lisandro Martinez shit the other day? Yes. Was Shaw shit the other day? Yes. Were all of our players terrible the other day? Yes. And the only thing I can think of is the Glazers. I'm blank in the head. I literally can't think about anything on the pitch.
Wait a minute. So there's no responsibility from the players because don't you think the players are using this as an excuse to ride on a free pony or something and say like that? Okay, because look, the owners might be an issue, right? I get it. Like I understand. At first, I used to say, okay, the owners are pumping in money at United. I know that people say they're taking out money, but there's still money that's being brought out, even if you are making your own money, because that's what United fans always boast about, that we make our own money. So there, your own money is buying these players. But are these players not also an excuse? Because Bruno right now, if I sat down with him and he had a conversation with me and Bruno said, the ownership is not great, I'd be like, they just gave you a payment and you just accepted it. You just doubled your wages, isn't it? And then now you're more shit. So Jesse, is there no blame on the players? Because now that I bet you, because Ten Hag threw them under the bus, not threw them under the bus, he openly criticized them. I wouldn't be surprised if they're going to throw him under the bus. Because remember, he said that the team is at fault. Now I'm just watching. If they do that, isn't it about time to start looking for some of the players in there? Maybe there's a bit of a, how sometimes in a team, when the coach comes in, they find the bad eggs, like what Arteta did, Ozil and them, even though Ozil, I get it, but he was also a bit of a bad egg. Then Aubameyang, don't you think some set in place? Because why? Let me even ask, why the hell is what's his name? That guy, the English defender. I forgot his name. He refused. He refused to give Varane the number 4. Why is Phil Jones still there?
Yeah, dude, you're asking these things. You're saying, well, some attention needs to be put on the players. Bruno Fernandes, who gave him that contract? Phil Jones, who kept him at the club and gave him a new 5-year contract 3 or so years ago. Who's employing these players? Who's giving them new contracts? Why is Luke Shaw still at the club? And then you say, well, these players are underperforming. There has to be some blame placed on them. Look, United fans have already placed as much blame as we can. The fact is, we're not getting rid of them. What should have happened with Arteta, if the Glazers weren't the issue, what should have happened was, what should have happened if it were Ten Hag's prerogative, I imagine he would have sold as many players as he could have and brought in as many players as he could have as well. We'll go through this as well from the Muppeteers who are super credible when it comes to Manchester United. All this new money that they're talking about. Oh, the Glazers have instituted this so we can spend more all of a sudden. It's coming from Frankie de Jong because it's official that like within United, they know they're not getting Frankie de Jong. So they're saying, dude, guys, guess what? Now we have 85 million euros to spend. It's like, no, because you're going to spend it on that guy. So don't now cheat us with a 58 million pound net spend. Like whatever way you want to look at it. Yes, the players are bad and they're not performing and they're not working hard enough. Ten Hag has gone things wrong by the way, as well. His selections have been questionable. He's done certain things, taking out McTominay and then putting him back into halftime. But like taking out McTominay, and he should have taken out. Yeah, he did take out Shaw and play Malacia. Like certain things, he's starting to just like do better, but he makes mistakes as well. It's almost impossible, though, as a United fan who actually watches this club religiously, to look at them and say there's any other issue except for the Glazers, because every issue that you're seeing on the pitch is stemming down from the way they're running the club. They don't even know the rules of the game. Like if you go back and watch the Brighton game at Old Trafford, watch Avram Glazer in the block in the box. He's looking around. He's watching the game like he doesn't know what's going on. I don't know. Like there's absolutely, I don't know. Like I'm the wrong person to ask. Maybe you guys will find some United fans that actually are willing to blame players and the coach, but I just can't do it. Like I can't.
It's all right. Liverpool are going to give you a pass anyway on Monday because we've got no players left.
We need you guys to batter us. We need like a 5-0 by halftime, fans walking out.
I need Mo Salah to turn up. Yeah, 100%. I need him to turn up and get some goals and take advantage of a current situation that's going on over at United. But no, 100%. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's right. Ultimately, it's not saying like, oh, it's it's like as you're saying, like people are very quick to make like low hanging fruit kind of messages to saying like, oh, it's this player's fault, it's that manager's fault. It is, of course, it's their fault. Ten Hag's decision making is not the Glazers. It's as simple as that. If he makes bad decisions, that's his part that's wrong. You take that bit and say that's his proportion of blame. If players play badly, then it's their portion of blame as well, of course. But the deep-seated problems which are there at United, as Annie's already put in there before, is he said if half of these players would not be at Manchester United if they were run properly. As simple as that. Not having the wrong attitudes in there. I mean, looking in there, I mean, Rashford, £250,000, Martial, £250,000, 375,000 a week for De Gea. I mean, it's outrageous. It's bad business everywhere you look. Eric Bailly should have gone. Phil Jones should have gone. Shaw probably should have gone. Diogo Dalot's never been it. He should have gone. Going through the midfield. When Tomney isn't good enough to start for Manchester United. Bruno Fernandes should never have been given a whole new contract. It's just.
Where have you seen a keeper being paid 375?
Wow. He is getting paid 375. Yeah. Rashford, I don't think Rashford's on 250. I think Rashford goalkeeper. Martial's definitely on 250. I think Rashford's on 220, 225. And De Gea
David De Gea got 375,000. I think it was 4 or 5 years ago. This was when Real Madrid was sniffing around him, and this was United's way.
It was actually after that they had already bought Courtois, so De Gea didn't have anywhere to go. So he was basically like, okay, I'll sign the ultra lucrative contract that United has had on the table. They had already bought Courtois though, so basically he had no other options at that point. Like,
oh right, okay. I thought this was just pretty much an at and around the time as a way of keeping De Gea away from Madrid. To be fair, so I'll stand corrected if that's what it is. But yeah, no,
I found them. I found them, Jesse. If you want to share, I just shared.
You shared it where?
There with you. I found them. My God, Jesus.
I mean, I can.
Sancho 350. Sancho.
Yeah, hold up. What is it? Sport Track or something? Whatever. United.
No. If you go to StreamYard or something, it'll be able. It's what? Let me just send you the link. Let me just send you a link. Makes it easy.
I use one. I use this guy all the time. I might have
first one. It's the first one. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is the first one. Yeah.
Yeah. And these aren't
like,
adjusted.
look at that.
These aren't adjusted for not getting Champions League, but it doesn't matter. This is how much the club actually values these players at. Bruno Fernandes on 240. Who the hell gave him that contract? Who in the world gave him that? It was during our worst period in 50 years, and they gave him that contract.
Are you not concerned more with Sancho, especially Sancho? Like, what did he earn to do that? 350.
That one doesn't concern me as much. Forget his performances. I understand why he got a big payday because he came in as one of the club's most expensive purchases. But you start looking around at Tony. What has Tony to be on 250? Right? Like Marcus, they just want to keep him around. He's
Phil Jones 75. Phil Jones gets more money than Edison. Wow. Phil Jones gets more money than Edison.
Mm-hmm. Yep. We were
and
just
what so
but yeah. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Wait a minute. Luke Shaw and then Man Inter of all those guys get almost the same money as Bernardo Silva.
Yeah, because these are contracts. See, what the Glazers do is that they sign up players to new long-term contracts and give them massive pay bumps because they don't want to sell them because it's too expensive to sell them when they're on big money and then sign a new player. So they'd rather just keep them on a lucrative contract. It's a really bad business model, man. Like, it doesn't make sense. It also isn't even cheaper because you can buy quality and put them on lower wages. You don't need to just buy players for 50, 60 million. You don't have to do that. They just choose to do that. The Glazers are stupid, dude. They're idiots. They're not good businessmen. I don't care what anyone says. Like, they're not. It's nothing. None of their decisions make sense. And by the way, this is a reduced wage bill from last year. Our wage bill was way higher last year because of the players that we let go on free transfers. So, like, we used to have Pogba on 300 as well. We used to have like Matic and people on like 130, 180, 150. Mata, yeah, I don't know how much Mata was on, but he was on a decent amount as well. Lingard was on like 130. Like this was, it may not sound like a lot because you see all the big numbers, but when you take out like Pogba, Mata, Matic, Lingard, and who else did we get rid of? I think we had one more. It doesn't matter. Like it was our wage bill was even more inflated than it is now. It's crazy, man.
Can I ask you something? Why did you guys pull out James Garner from Nottingham Forest and now you're going to sell him? Like, isn't James Garner better than some of your midfielders? I bet he is. Like, what's going on on that one? I just wanted to ask you. I know it's not part of this, but I just wanted to ask you because I saw James Garner has been sold for 14 million. But isn't he like isn't he better than what some of I bet James Garner is better than McTominay. I bet he is because I was watching him. He looks like he's got better potential. Like I don't know. I'm just lost, because when I was preseason, do you know what I was thinking? I was thinking that Ten Hag will come in a bit like Arteta and bite the bullet a bit and bring some of the kids. I'm talking about the kids like Zidane that impressed me. Like I was thinking that's what he's gonna do. Like bite the bullet and say, you know what? I'm getting rid of these old people who are causing trouble. If I don't get Frankie de Jong, I'm keeping these young. Because you know what made me laugh? During preseason, I was watching you guys. We were starving for football. Every time the kids come in,
they look better than the first team.
Kids were playing Ten Hag football better than the seniors. I don't know if you saw that, Jesse. Yeah. So I don't get it. I just don't get it. I don't get it.
I mean,
anyway, I don't get it. It's just there must be something. There must be somebody stopping all these.
Yeah, listen, it's one of those situations. I mean, Manchester United are going to be a team which ultimately time will tell. In 12 months' time, the situation could be completely different. It could be the same. It really is a very difficult one for us to go on and predict the future. But there's good murmurs and rumours and kind of situations going forward is what we can expect from United, and obviously for United as a football club, it's a long road back, and the first step, unfortunately, is to get rid of the parasite that's causing the infection, and that is the Glazers, who have had 17 years of poisoning the club top to bottom and have ruined an awful lot of good potential that was already built there. But talking about things that we cannot predict but can kind of look over, this is a good opportunity. A little review of the first 2 weeks of the Premier League. Football is well and truly back. We've had some ups and downs. This Premier League table, Patrick, anything other than City being the top of the league? Anything here that's totally shocking you? Anyone who's letting you down? I know Liverpool are letting you down, but we're still unbeaten, so invincible
Jenny,
season inbound, isn't it?
Can you scroll up first? Yeah, can I see the just scroll up the table? Keep scrolling up the table. Up the table, Jesse.
Sorry, I'm just
Do any of you two see it? I'm joking. I was about to do where they say you can't see your team. No, man. Dan, I'm sensible. I'm not excited by this. I told you in the other stream, I am still not convinced with the team. I want us to play a half decent team, a team that will give you a bit of a challenge. I hope Newcastle do that. I'm not worried about Liverpool, but I'm also worried a bit. Okay, I'm not worried about Liverpool, but I'm also worried about Liverpool a bit as a guy who watches football. I'm trying to remove the whole classes from Man City and just look like a football fan. Everybody was saying midfielders, and even people who don't know football are just saying Liverpool need midfielders. What made the Liverpool board or club sit there and say we don't need any midfielders? Because I knew that you guys were a bit of Thiago away of going back to a certain type of Liverpool that requires Trent and Robo to cross in and somebody to luckily get to the end. Now look at how Thiago just gets out of the team. The team has just become something else. It's just like this team is different. But I know you guys will be back. Tottenham, I'm happy that I was a bit right. I was saying there's a bit of hype because without Chelsea not being good to creating all the chances, if Chelsea was a team that had a creative midfielder, I think they would have finished that Spurs team within the first half. But if we go to the bottom of the table, if we may.
Hello.
look at the contrast. By the way, this is my opportunity to move some things around. I'm gonna be down here with my boy Annie at the bottom of the table, where we should
Strongest team in the league, holding the rest of them up.
Thanks for showing your face on screen, by the way, Annie. I'm just gonna hide behind you here for a little while. So
That's it. No, I mean, look here,
Jesse,
right? Okay. I mean, look here. Let's take away the banter for Manchester United for now. Everton being down there doesn't surprise me. Southampton being down there doesn't surprise me, and Leicester City being down there. These were all teams that we predicted were going to have a tough season coming up, and they have. Everton have been woeful in their first two games. There's no goals. There's no one in that team who you go, he's going to score. That's where the goals are going to come from. Like, he's the threat. There's no one in it. There's no one in that team. Southampton are doing Southampton things. I mean, they got the draw late doors against Leeds, and Leeds will have been really disappointed to have not got that result. Yeah. Being 2-0 up into the second half, they'd have been really disappointed. But Southampton play Leicester next game, and this is my prediction. First, Leicester win, in my opinion. I think Leicester will get a win. Really pile some pressure onto Southampton there. So, West Ham is the one that's shocking me, boys. I know that they had a free hit against Manchester City. It's one of those. You play City first game of the season. It's either like, listen, unless it's Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal, really, it's like, well, we're probably expected to lose. So we'll just see what happens.
They've looked really poor, though.
They have. Poor. That's so bad.
That's the main concern. But the one thing I will say is I did kind of see a little bit of the highlights. They do look a lot better once they bring on their substitutes with Skavaka and the others. They do like there's something there. And then Nottingham Forest being at home, or this is their first home game back in the Premier League for 20 plus years. It's a tough fixture, but at the same time, West Ham needs to be doing better. If they go into this Brighton game at home, that's a must win now. That's the problem, is that now that's a must win. And you have Villa.
And they've got to play this game here, haven't they? Midweek tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. Yep. In the, Conference League qualifiers. Jesus. I feel bad for them. Like,
they'll need to get the job done. They'll want to get this job done first leg because they won't want to travel to wherever Viborg is with a full team. They'll want to go there. They'll be looking to kind of put 2-3, whatever they can get past this Viborg at home. So they can't afford to play the kids first leg to rest the team for that one because they don't want to leave it all to do for the second leg away from home and have to then send all the boys because they're then away to Villa. It's tough. They've made things really hard for themselves because look, let's just look at this. It's actually quite worrying for West Ham. The next game's Brighton. That's got draw written all over it for me. That really does have either a draw or a Villa, maybe I don't know, even a Brighton win. Aston Villa away. It's going to be tough. Really tough match against Stevie G. Tottenham Hotspur, Chelsea, Newcastle.
Do you know what, Dan? I like the way you're sitting here, and obviously you're looking at West Ham's lineup of games. But I'd like you to go and look at, no banter, but I want you to go and flip over to United list of games. And if you look at the United list of games that are coming, I don't know if you guys somebody hates you at the Premier League. You will find out that if you start pointing, I don't know where our neighbors are going to find points. I want you to click. Tell me where they're going to get points.
Southampton.
No. Southampton
away is difficult. And with
oh my God, Leicester, Brendan Rodgers will do you a job. Mr. Calamity himself will drop you a 2-1, no problem.
No, it's a real concern because I don't think the players are gonna because I don't think the players are gonna play.
Do you see that, Dan?
I'm actually looking at it now. That's horrible. Arsenal, Palace away. Oh my God. Leeds, Manchester City.
No, Jesse.
Everton away.
Jesse, go back. Don't run away. Jesse's trying to scroll. Jesse's trying to scroll very fast.
No.
It starts with Liverpool. So Jesse, it starts with that Liverpool game. If you guys, I think, get a draw or a win somehow, I think that would be the biggest boost.
No, I expect.
We're not that bad.
I expect this to be a drubbing. Now, what I will say is that out of all these games, I can count 5 points up until here. I can see 8. Not even in our current state, but as of last season in our form, I don't see more than 15 points up until like here, like Nottingham Forest. I don't see, like, even here, I don't see, I think 15 points by after this game. I think that's realistic.
It's the bottom of the table.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't even think that'd be bottom of the table. I think that's barely avoiding relegation at that rate. I think that's about where that is. So.
Oh my God, that's dirty. I'm sorry, I didn't even realize United's run is as bad as that. To be honest, there's not even any relegate. I mean, Southampton away, it's not even as if they was at Old Trafford. You know what I mean? I like Jesse said it, you just have those hoodoo teams where you just don't do well at the grounds. Southampton, I know, is one of those teams, and Everton as well is an away at Goodison Park. They have this hoodoo over the big clubs. They just seem to get a really they play awfully at your ground. So City will hammer Everton 4-5-0 at the Etihad, but then shit out away to a 1-0 against them with a naughty handball. You know how it is.
Leicester is the same. Leicester is the same. Also, away they are difficult. They just
and that's it. You got this difficult matter. Crystal Palace. I mean, that game's not actually got a time yet for it. I don't think on September 11th. That's probably not been structured for times, for the games. So that could be, an evening or lunchtime kickoff potentially when that's put on. So Selhurst Park's not a place you want to go. Ask Liverpool/City fans or any fan, because they're just a tough team, especially if they start getting things in the swing.
I mean, I don't really know, what do you guys actually expect of United? Because at this point, I'm I've already admitted I'm a terrible United fan, I guess, because I just want to see as much pain leveled on to the club as possible so that people who actually can make change start making change. But what do you guys actually expect? Because I'm just going to be biased. I'm going to say, I want us to get drubbed by every single one of these teams. So I need you guys to be the voices of reason. What do you guys actually see from, let's just say, Liverpool through to Crystal Palace?
I think we'll beat you, even as though we've not been playing as well as we were, with the players. I still think we'll beat you. Southampton away, I'll be influenced by the fact that I know you do poorly away there. I think you could get a draw. It's not even me being I think you could get a draw there. I don't rate Southampton. Brendan Rodgers will be under pressure all the time. Leicester away is another one of those games where United don't seem to fare well at that ground. Arsenal, the United Arsenal derby is always a naughty one, and they're flying. They're absolutely flying, and if they're still playing as good as they are, then you'd expect an Arsenal win there. But it's like I don't like cliches, when they say oh well, it's Liverpool United, anything can happen. That's a game where I actually kind of use that, because sometimes form goes out the window. Where it gets a little bit tasty and people put a few tackles in, and kind of madness can occur. So yeah, Crystal Palace away.
That's definitely a bogey. That is Hall of Fame bogey.
They'll trust you. Those guys, the Palace will dunk on you. These guys at home, they are serious. So if they don't come with serious business like how you're playing with the first players they have, Zaha will have a field day. He'll have a field day. So I don't know, man. Even Leeds United are stable. They're more stable than you. Like he's made them
Jesse's
stable.
loving Jesse Marsh. He thinks he's the man.
I'm a massive.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say it on here for obvious reasons, but dude, Godspeed, Leeds. I'm not gonna say anything else. But yeah, no, they're fine by me, and I do think that they'll do well. Just going back to that, that goal that Eze and Zaha scored against Liverpool at the weekend. That will happen 3 times in that game, because Ten Hag's not going to rest on his laurels and start playing a low block. He is going to keep playing the way he's been playing for the right reasons too. It's what Klopp would have done. It's what Pep would have done. So he'll do it, but it's just not going to work. Sorry, Pat. We cut you off a little bit there. So
Man City's going to be a demolition.
Fine, man. You're going to. No, maybe that'll be the chance. We always give you a chance somehow. But all I'm asking is, if you come with that energy you're having currently, and you come against Haaland, I think that would just be.
Since when did Manchester City turn into Oxfam? You're gonna kill them.
Yeah, dude, he knows what
he no charity.
You know what? Yeah, Jesse.
We always give him
Jesse. I'm looking at this. It doesn't look great. It doesn't look great.
We'll have an XG of 7 against United, because, like I said about Crystal Palace. Okay, so what do you think Zaha's going to do against United? What do you think Haaland's going to do against United? And it's not Eze playing that ball; it's KDB playing that ball. It's going to be a demolition. I'm here for it, but that's going to
be. Is Jamie Vardy back? Is Jamie Vardy? Is Jamie Vardy back?
Vardy's fit. Yeah, Vardy is fit. Yeah, he hasn't scored yet, but he's fit. And you know what he's like. He can do business, can't he?
Oh, he.
Yeah, you know who he's waiting for. You know who he's waiting for.
Who's he waiting for?
Harry Maguire.
That this is bad. It's as if these are the setups you never want, even as a City fan.
What's the next 6 games?
No, Dan.
We're cutting off there. We're going to spend too much time on United.
Dan, even as a City fan, I wouldn't even want these games. Even as a City fan, I wouldn't want these games. Even as a City fan, I would be saying, "Wow, these games," because these are dodgy games. Yeah.
Yeah, to be fair, I'd hate to look at it as well. But no, but listen, this is the thing, we're looking at there, looking at these teams. So we go to the bottom of the league. I know that Liverpool are 12th right now. We have been poor. We've had 2 very poor games. The only positive that we can somehow take from any of it is showing resilience. We've scored 3 goals. We have conceded 3 goals, which is the problem. If we stop conceding and we start putting away some of our chances, things will be okay. That's the only thing I can say, is that we've, this XG, some people think it's a myth, it's nonsense, you know what I mean? But we've have good numbers. Liverpool have put some very good numbers up in the first 2 games. Their problem is when it comes to the big moments, Liverpool have been caught lacking. We started out with Nat Phillips in the defence against Crystal Palace. That's a mistake. That is bad news. That is not what you want to be doing. And we paid the price. And that's the reason we conceded the goal, is because Nat Phillips isn't good enough. Joe Gomez was rightly protected because I believe he had a knock, and ultimately he came on in the second half. He played brilliantly. I think he played 44 perfect passes, 11, and he won the ball back 11 times. He's ready. He's ready. He's fit. He's hungry, and he's ready for United. He's going to play against United, and I think defensively will be better. Thiago will eventually be back, and once he's back and fit and playing, then things get a bit better. Do we need to sign a midfielder? 100%. But I have to back the owners. I have to back my club, because how many times have they got it wrong? How many times have Liverpool missed out on players and those players have flopped? They haven't worked out. We look at Timo Werner. We were going for him, didn't get him, flopped, didn't work. There's multiple times where Liverpool have gone in for players and it's just not worked out. And if Liverpool don't think that the player's right, I've got to trust them. I know it's frustrating, because I'm hungry. I'm hungry out here, wanting someone to come in. Do you know what I mean? And this Nunez going to Wolves is just frightening me, because he looks brilliant. But there must be a reason why Liverpool are saying, no, we're not gonna do it. There must be a reason they're not gonna do it, and I can only assume is that they, in their analysis, know something that I don't. That's all I can say.
The one thing I do want to say, when we start talking about FSG and the recruitment and saying, well, how often do they get it wrong? Typically, they get it wrong most often when they don't buy replacements. So that's where you needed defenders. Even then, you guys brought in Nat Phillips. I don't remember if you brought him in, but then you brought in Kovac.
No, Nat Phillips was already at the club, but we brought Ozan Kabak in on a loan deal, and we brought in Ben Davies from Preston, which we ended up selling. Now,
but can I just clarify before you go? Yeah. That was like the issue, was that you guys didn't actually have defenders. So like they were the wrong players. Nat Phillips is not quality for pretty much any Premier League team, in my opinion, and neither is Quebec. But the biggest issue was that you didn't bring Quebec in until January, and Klopp still kept playing Henderson at fullback, center back, when you had brought them in. So there is like this thing where yes, FSG's recruitment is good, but it doesn't, just not buying players doesn't always work. But that's my point that I want.
Using the glorious hindsight, we were all screaming and shouting for Liverpool to go out there and sign a top quality centre back. Bring Konate in now. Konate would have cost us 50 million in January, as opposed to 38 million in July. What Liverpool did was they gambled a little bit. They knew that we weren't going to win the league, because we were already too far behind by that point. And what they did, looking back now, it worked through a miracle of Alisson scoring a goal against West Brom to keep us going on the points trail, that we ended up getting fourth. If Liverpool had missed out on fourth, and that was because we'd only brought in Ozan Kabak and Ben Davies, who never played an actual competitive minute for Liverpool, then FSG would have had mud on their face. But because their gamble paid off, we ended up getting Ibrahima Konate for £12 million less than we would have done. And we all know how good that guy is. Now, this is another situation where hindsight will tell us whether or not the decision's correct or not. We should be going on to try and win the title this season. Absolutely. We absolutely should be. And I'm very, very concerned that we're not going to. I'm very concerned that ultimately this is just because of the injuries we have. Is the league over? No, of course it isn't. There's 36 more games of football to go. Anything can happen. Any situation can happen. But we've dropped 4 points that we should absolutely have on the board. We are making it hard for ourselves. We're making it very, very hard. And all I can say is I'm hoping upon hope that they have a plan up their sleeve that we can all sit here and go, so that's what they were doing. That's the only thing I can say. That's the only thing I'm hoping as a Liverpool fan. More than expectation, it's hope at the moment.
Yeah, Pat, do you have any thoughts on that? Because I have an idea about. I think if Liverpool get in the next 6 games, if you guys don't pick up 6 wins or 5 wins, let's just say, I think it.
Who are they going against? Who are they against after you guys?
United.
Let's say we cancel the game against you guys. You just say we ignore the game against you guys. That's a win.
We can win all those.
So that's 1, 2, 3. I expect to win. probably the hardest. Newcastle is probably the hardest.
Newcastle and Wolves, Dan. You know what they did to both of our teams last season.
I don't think Wolves are like that right now. I really don't think Wolves are like that right now.
No. Liverpool have a very good record against Newcastle at Anfield. A very, very, very good record. And Klopp has an incredible record against Eddie Howe. Eddie Howe as a manager does not do well against Klopp. He just doesn't. He's had a very poor running from the start. I'm not concerned about any of those up until we get to Chelsea away. Chelsea away is going to be a very tough match.
Yeah, it's going to be annoying.
Brighton always seem to give you trouble. Brighton always seem to give you trouble.
They do.
This is an annoying run. This is a very annoying run. Chelsea away, Brighton at home, Arsenal away, City at home, West Ham. If West Ham get their SHIT together, there you go.
West Ham are specialists against big teams there. But right now, I think you guys are going to dunk on them. Dan, I think it's not the same West Ham. I think you'll be able to. But Nottingham Forest, I think, are going to be a pain for City too. I've been watching them a bit. I know they were beaten, but I have a feeling they're going to be a pain for a few teams. They like counter-attack football, which City don't like. Oh, then you go to Leeds United, then you go to. I think you guys are going to pick up points.
There's a couple of things.
Always beat Arsenal, no matter how. Yeah.
There's a couple of good things that come about here. Diogo Jota is going to return. Darwin Núñez is going to be back with a new attitude and a new lesson that's going to be learned. Naby Keita will be available. Ibrahima Konate is going to return. Joel Matip is going to return. This is where Liverpool's strength in numbers will improve going forward from there. The team that we have right now is depleted due to injuries. We have 11 separate injuries. I'm hoping that none are added to that list. And as we go into that tough run of games, our team goes back to full strength. And that can be my only hope at the moment. I won't be a second guess.
Yeah, I do think that your front line is significantly weakened by not having Núñez in there. But I also was saying the opposite at the weekend. I think that when Núñez is in the team, Diaz and Salah look a little bit more lost. And I do think that that's not a hindrance. I just think it's time betting in and figuring out how to play with him. I don't know. Like, honestly, he's going to miss United. He's going to miss Bournemouth and Newcastle. I don't think he's a massive loss there because you guys should be winning all of those. If Núñez wasn't there and Jota wasn't there for Chelsea, Brighton, Liverpool, and City, or Arsenal and Cities rather, I think that would have been trouble. But yeah.
It would be. No, 100%. I mean, I am disappointed. Like, I was hoping that Liverpool would have brought in at least one midfield addition this summer and then brought in one next summer because we need two right now. If Liverpool sell any more midfielders, which ultimately Oxlade-Chamberlain is going next season, Liverpool need three. You know, Keita, Chamberlain, Milner, Henderson, and Jones. Like, yeah, it's weak. It's weak, man. It's not good enough. Our midfield's not good enough. Like, our defense is fine. Our attacking line is fine. Our goalkeeper is absolutely fine. But our midfield, when you take away Thiago, which you have to because he gets injured every season, Fabinho is brilliant. But when Fabinho is isolated and when Fabinho isn't supported, he does have bad games. He's had a couple of bad games. But can I blame it individually on him? No, because ultimately he's got Milner and Harvey Elliott as his two sides. We're not supporting him. We need to give him better. Could Rodri do as good of a job with Keita and with Harvey Elliott and James Milner in the Man City midfield? Of course not. He'd struggle. He'd have a tough game. It's not an individual. It's a team problem. And the only thing I can hope is that we get the injuries back up and running and have the same bit of luck that we had last season with injuries where people stayed fit. And I'm hoping that this is just like a blip at the front of the season. Because if it comes again, yeah, it's a wrap.
No, 100%. I think we should go ahead and move on. Just whilst we go through this, I mean, let's skim through the teams above Liverpool. We expect Liverpool to climb up the table anyways. Bournemouth, honestly, look good in the first game. Don't look great, though. I mean, I don't expect too much from them. I know a lot of people were like, oh, my God, they won their first game of the season. They were playing at home. Caught someone off guard. Who did they play first game, actually?
They played Aston Villa.
Played Villa, yeah. And honestly, Villa has not been fantastic. So, yeah, they haven't been convincing at all. So I don't expect too much from them this season. Nottingham Forest kind of the same sort of thing. It depends on how quickly they bet in the 100,000 players that they've bought somehow. So that will be interesting. But at the end of the day, I think Nottingham Forest might just sneak away from relegation, but only time will tell. Villa, not good enough so far, conceding way too many goals for my liking. I don't know what you guys are thinking, but
100%. I mean,
And your man is injured,
they
and
won a
the
game.
defender is injured, isn't it?
yeah, Diego Carlos is injured. I'm going to run to the bathroom real quick.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's injured.
Yeah. Diego Carlos is out for the season. That's a wrap. 7 months they've said that he's out for, so that's it. You ain't going to see him until next season now, which means that they have to go out there and they're actually looking at signing another centre back. They're now currently starting with the same centre back pairing that Steven Gerrard didn't want last season with Konsa and Mings. That's why he signed Diego Carlos almost immediately as soon as the season ended. Bouba Kamara came in and Diego Carlos came in within a week. And we were like, whoa, Aston Villa are doing business, meaning business right now. And Carlos is out. So they're going to have to bring in somebody else, whether or not that's a temporary solution with a loan or whether or not they actually go out there and sign another, kind of first choice starting centre back. Who knows? I mean, my problem with Aston Villa is I still don't think people are trying to hang Steven Gerrard out to dry. But if anyone actually watches Aston Villa, and I watched a lot of Villa, just because Steven Gerrard's there, I will do. Do you know what I mean? I'll pay an interest. The problem is Aston Villa they create a lot of chances. They do. They have a lot of chances. Look at them against City last season. Let's get it straight. Last game of the season, Man City under pressure, need to win the title, and Aston Villa go and put 2 goals past City. That's not a fluke. You don't do that by accident. That's a system and a plan that does things and does stuff. My problem is I've watched the players. I've watched Danny Ings. I've watched Ollie Watkins fluff their lines over and over and over again, and they've let him down. So I still don't think it's Steven Gerrard. I think it's the players. Do I think Steven Gerrard's like a super top manager at the moment? No, not yet. I think he's a good manager, but I think Aston Villa's players are letting him down. I don't know what you think, Pat. Have you seen any of Aston Villa?
Yeah, I've been watching the game. One thing I can tell you though is, can you still not hear me?
No, I can, mate. Yeah.
Can you hear
just
me?
like it was just off. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, it keeps freezing. I'm surprised. Like StreamYard has been doing this the whole day today. What I'm saying is, I am surprised by Steve. Right? Yeah. Okay, you want to put a mark on your team, right? He's taken few players that were playing good. The guy he got from Man City, Douglas Luiz, who was looking great at a point in time, at a point where Man City wanted to trigger the buyback, he is dropped him to the bench. He's brought in Kamara and he dropped in Mings. Look, Mings and Douglas might not be it, but Gerrard has to understand those 2 players he's brought in are not from the Prem. So you're getting rid of players that were actually looking great when Aston Villa was shit. Like there was a point in time when it was McGinn, Grealish, and Douglas. You know what I mean? Even Mings was looking great in the Aston Villa team at a point in time. So if he wants to rebuild, fair play to him. But I think he's done it too early because what you do is, as a coach, you could have started with those old guards, then started bedding in the new guards, and then the new guys take over form, and then you can throw them out. But what he's done is immediately everybody he's brought in personally, he's just got rid of some of the people who were part of the team. So I think that's part of his big mistake. And I get what he's trying to do. He did at Rangers, but I don't think it's going to work at Villa. It might work in time, but that's what I've noticed. That I've just noticed that he brought in his own players and he's decided to bank out the players that, like, didn't he sell Target? He said he saw Target.
He did sell Target, which was fine because he went and brought Luca Dean in, and Luca Dean just needs to improve. That's all I'm saying. He just needs to get better, and he's a great player. Luca Dean is a really good player. His consistency needs to improve. But do you know what? You hit on a really good point, and I think this is something that Steven Gerrard, like you say, he went up to Rangers and came in there and like was able to lay down the hammer because he is Steven Gerrard, and it worked. He walked in, got rid of who he didn't want. Said, particular players, if they want to do this, they want to do that. I think at one point he even called out like being a captain or something like that in the club and said, if you need to be the captain, you start acting like it. He's got that ability. But when you come to Aston Villa, I think he might have learned, or at least I hope he's learned, that coming to the Premier League, the players have a lot more power and they have a lot more kind of influence over you as a person. You can't intimidate them as much as you can in other leagues, where you're able to come in and just say, right, this is what I expect from you. Deliver, deliver, deliver. And at Villa, that's, I think, what his problem is. I think he's come in, tried to strong arm the situation like he did at Rangers, and it's not quite worked out. So he's going to have to change his tact a little bit, because Aston Villa, ninth, if they get ninth to 8th this season, that's a really good season for Aston Villa. I genuinely think that's a really good season for them. Getting into the top half of the table, and then next season looking at trying to put a bid together to go towards trying to get that Europa League, sort of Europa Conference League sort of positions, kind of at least put heavy pressure on that, that top 6 kind of positions. That's what they would look to do. But I don't really know what other teams kind of want from Aston Villa. Like, are we expecting Villa to be a top 6 club? I don't think so. I don't think they're a top 6 club. So for me, anything in the top half of the table for Aston Villa is a successful season, as long as they can keep consistent, because that will be the problem. If you're a Villa fan, you'll be frustrated if you get a result against, say, Chelsea, get a draw, but then you could then go on and lose against Fulham. That's not good enough. That's the inconsistency is the problem.
Sorry, I'm just trying to update this stuff on Twitter right now. If I'm honest.
No, it's grand. No, it's grand. Yeah. So what about Leeds United? Because Brighton are doing good, regardless of the fact they saw 2 of the best players, and I'm surprised by that. Chelsea, I think they almost beat Spurs. We don't really like. I think Chelsea, I expect them to gel. As I said, the only issue I see is there's no creative midfielder in there, and people like Raheem need more than one chance to score. And if that's the guy you're going with as your first 9, you need to give him more than one chance. Leeds United, obviously Jesse says he's impressed with the coach. I'm also impressed he stabilized the team. They look more stable. They don't look like the bunch of kids just playing on the football pitch trying to score goals. Newcastle looks stable also. I don't know if I'm wrong, but the midfield is good. I think that's what's keeping them. It's the midfield. But what about Spurs?
The problem?
Yeah, the attack, because St. Maximin thinks he's still playing Street FIFA or something instead of trying to be stable. Tottenham, I don't know. As I said it, Tottenham seem to always have the DNA of Tottenham. I think they were lucky against Chelsea. That's just me. I just think they were lucky.
Yeah, they were lucky.
Incredibly lucky, yeah. Yeah,
they got battered off the pitch.
Yeah. Neither of those goals really should have stood. I understand that, like, the first one, it was it kind of wasn't part of the same phase of play. But that second one, no one can tell me that wasn't a straight red.
It should never have happened.
It's absolutely, it's irrehensible. Actually, this is the first time I've actually felt bad for Chelsea fans when they complain about Anthony Taylor. It's the first time I've actually seen what they're talking about.
I mean, I feel neutral towards the situation.
I mean, you do, but like, honestly, it was just one of those where I would have hated that to happen to my team, and it didn't make any sense in the end. I mean, even that, even the Kane goal was an own goal by Reece James, really and truly. Like,
not according to my FPL, it wasn't.
Exactly. I'll take that because I avoided the hit. So
exactly, and that was my only saving grace. I lost my clean sheet to the Højbjerg goal, and I was like, "Listen, he's got his goal. Don't be giving me own goals here. I need some points on the board. I'm climbing the tables. I'm climbing tables."
Nunes destroyed my fantasy. He was the last piece. If he performed, that was it. Him and Trent were the last pieces. If them two performed, but at least I got myself back up, because right now I'm counting. I'm like, by next week, if I do well, I'll do well. But talking about Brentford, they spanned. Okay, I can't. You know what, Jesse? We're just going to.
You are the worst, dude. Everyone's so shitless. Like, we know United are trash, and even then, it's like, you just can't keep the smile off your face. Even when we were talking about the takeover, you guys were just like, not good.
That is it my fault? We were going so well, we ignored United, but we went to third and found Brentford now. I don't know. Okay,
listen, Brentford. I don't know. I mean, second season syndrome is real, but it doesn't mean it's always it always happens, with these clubs. And I like Brentford. I mean, I like them even more after the weekend. But sorry, no, but like the thing about Brentford is that they're like the Danish version of Wolves. They just buy Danish players, and they seem to do well. But they're a good team. They have a particular style of play, full of energy. They've got attacking players. They do everything in the right way, and they've got a good manager. I mean, Thomas Frank is a very good manager, and he's a pain to some, but he is a very good manager. And Brentford, I think, are going to be fine. Like some people have Brentford as like struggling this season. I think they'll be. I don't think they'll have any problems. I think they'll go through a lull.
Yeah.
Like they did last season. I think they'll go for another lull where it'll be like loss, draw, loss, draw, loss, 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 and then they'll pick it up again. But so far, Brentford have, they're going to do well. Arsenal are flying, but they've not really had any tests yet. I'm sorry. I know that Liverpool didn't beat Crystal Palace, but Crystal Palace just weren't at the races the day that they first played. The first game at Selhurst Park, they just were not on it at all. They just had a bad day at the office. Crystal Palace looked off the pace. I think they looked like they struggled with not having a proper pre-season, with having half the team in England, half the team in Australia, and it was all a bit over the place. Leicester, I mean, I've rated Leicester as a club I think is in real mess and real problems from the start. I think they did what they needed to do, but they made it look difficult at one point. When it went to 3-2, it was a bit like, hang on, is it looking a little bit? And then Gabriel Jesus just does what Gabriel Jesus does, and he's done really, really well. And I've captained him against Bournemouth, and he'll score absolutely no goals at all. So that's what's going to happen.
God bless. God bless you for captaining him.
Yeah. Hey, listen, I'm backing this man, and if he lets me down, he's the reason City got rid of him.
No, honestly, Arsenal looked good. That first game was I think that Arsenal fans were getting a little giddy. The performance against Leicester was much more affirming. It was much more reassuring, should I say?
Yeah.
Like the first game against Crystal Palace were way off the pace. They weren't playing to their level at all. They were playing zero pressure. Arsenal almost lost that game or drew that game because they fell back into old ways. I don't know if Arteta is telling them score a goal, sit back, but that's not the way forward for Arsenal. You guys have good enough players. You guys are up there. You guys are competing. You guys are all pulling in the same direction. Play like a big club for the first time in 6-7 years. Start playing like a big club. You guys will be fine. You guys will get top 4 if you guys actually act like you're a big club. So just
be bigger, man.
Yeah, just be it. Be
the bigger guy.
We are bigger guys, or we are greater guys, or whatever he says.
We are bigger guys. That's what it needs to be. Arsenal, all for nothing.
Yeah, man.
What if they win it? Has anybody thought about that? What if they keep going?
What if they win it?
We can't even keep.
No. This is what I'm about to say. Is like, how things start like this, and then people are like, no, it'll be City, and Arsenal continue chasing somehow. What would happen? That would be funny.
If Arsenal win the league, I will for a whole year get the Sadio Mane haircut. I'll have the full thing. I'll get the whole side. I'll have a Sadio Mane for 12 months. If Arsenal win the league, I'm telling you, I will have the Sadio Mane hairdo for 12 months. It ain't happening.
I don't think white people can do that. Not being racist. I just don't think we can do it.
No, I'm cutting back here. I'm going to get like the receding line. I'm doing the whole works, man. It ain't happening. It ain't happening.
All right. The crescent moon on the back of your
head. No issues. I can do that. I know my barber. I'll put 20 in his hand and say to him, listen, Arsenal have won the league. I've got something to do.
Do you know what I know? This is what I know. Eventually, City will have a blip, and then Arsenal go top, and they'll be hyped. No, I'm not. I was just joking about them winning. They'll be hyped.
I'm ready for it. I'm waiting for it.
Come. So what's going to happen? Because I know, like, City might have a bit of a blip. Then Arsenal will go top. Just watch them. They'll be so hyped, and then they will be brought down again too. But anyway, fair play to them, man. They're playing good football. But I still think, if they got somebody who's good to debutize for Thomas Partey, I think they can actually be stronger. But El Neni is the backup. I'm sorry, the level is So
that is theirs. That is
the level for Jesus is the problem as well.
No. This is across your squad. I mean, the levels everywhere. You look at Saka, who replaces him, Gabby, who replaces him,
Odegaard,
Partey, who replaces him, Odegaard. Vieira looked okay in a behind closed doors friendly or whatever it was today.
The under-23s match, yeah, they're all hyping it. It's like if he's not playing well in the under-23s, I'd have questions left.
Even then, like the only position I can think where they have actual tangible depth is either attacking midfield or left back, because they have Zinchenko, and then if Tierney doesn't have to play that much, maybe he won't be injured as much. Those are the only two positions where I'm like, okay, I'm cool with this. Like if you get an injury, you're okay. If it happens to anyone else, I mean, I know Nketiah ended the season fine, but he's not that guy. He just isn't. We said this about Havertz when Chelsea fans were like, dude, we play way better.
My God.
Chelsea fans were telling us, well, we play way better without Lukaku and with Havertz in the team. It's like, no, but he's not that guy. And you've already seen at the beginning of the season, they've been defending well, but he's not it. He misses.
If Lukaku missed those chances Havertz had done, there would be complications for years. Could you imagine? Like the chances he missed. We said it. I got pulled apart for saying that Havertz is the Chelsea version of Divock Origi, but he didn't cost 70 million quid. It's that he doesn't score enough. Where's the goals? Havertz should be banging them goals away. When are they going to say he's not it and it's time to move on?
Champions League tax, apparently, that's what keeps him there. And what Chelsea fans are shamelessly telling me it's Champions League. So apparently because he scored in the Champions League, that goal, which is a fluke goal, by the way. I looked at it the other day. I was like, I say, because of that moment, that's what somebody was arguing about. It's like, you guys were on this man, Timo Werner's back, but he scored a few goals that were better than Havertz. And Havertz keeps missing. Like, he even missed in this game. They're still backing him. They're still backing Havertz. And yet they have been going against Ziyech. Ziyech scored against City 3 times. He's always dangerous against us. No, they back Havertz just because Champions League. So at Chelsea, once you score in the Champions League, you have no criticism, it seems. But at the end of the day, you're right. He's an 80 million player. We keep forgetting he cost 80 million and he hasn't lived up to the bill. And Werner at least was a 50 million player, but Werner is back to his best at the Bundesliga. He scored a wonderful goal within 30 minutes. Chelsea fans are going to have to start to realize that, is it the players or it's their coach who can't coach forwards? Because that's what he was being accused by PSG fans, that he made the front of PSG look the worst out of all the managers. That's what he was accused of, apparently. I know he got them the UCL final, but they say their football wasn't as attacking. Even they say Poch, his football was more attacking than Tuchel's. So Tuchel, we're going to have to look at him and say this season especially, because I expect him to challenge. Dan, I told Chelsea fans that they have to challenge. They are challengers. They can't be coming to us and saying, "Oh, if we get top 5, we're fine." No, that's not happening.
Well, the money that they've spent now, they've bought enough players. You know what I mean?
They said top 5 is fine. That's what they say, because they don't have a striker.
Right. No, sorry. They've any club that spends in excess of £150 million should be looking at trying to, go towards, at least competing for the title at the end of the day. And that's just excuses. At the end of the day, that's just excuses that need to be made. And a question will need to be asked, obviously, eventually, as to whether or not Thomas Tuchel's the right manager going forward. If he is going to win them the title, because ultimately, I've said this before and I'll say it again, and I could be proven wrong. I don't think Thomas Tuchel is a championship, Premier League or league winning manager. I think he's the kind of manager that you bring in when you want to win a cup. He'd be a great manager for someone like City, as daft as it sounds, to win a Champions League. Say that Pep never does it. Say it doesn't happen. But I think Thomas Tuchel could get Manchester City to win the Champions League. I just do. I think that
but it's after that.
He wouldn't win the league, but you could win the Champions League.
Yeah, but that's also the bad thing, Dan, because once you win the Champions League, it's all good, right? Even if he came at Liverpool, he won your Champions League, it's all good. The thing is, you still have to come back home and play the Premier League games. Guess what? Yeah. Liverpool fans and City fans are going to tell you, Why is he not winning the Premier League? They're like, okay, he won us the Champions League, but look at the games he's losing. That's the thing about Tuchel, I think so. He can
I
go into
saw it
that
with
cup
Rafa
and give you
Benitez, Pat.
yeah.
Pat, I saw it with Rafa Benitez. I saw Liverpool win the Champions League and then go to the final the year after in 2000. So 2 years later in 2007 under Rafa Benitez, with a team that wasn't good enough, by the way, to get to the finals. But the manager had the game plan. He knew how to do it. He knew how to, to play that kind of football. But I then watched this same team that was capable of beating Juventus in the Champions League draw with Stoke, home and away. That was the thing. That was my point. That Liverpool didn't win the league one year under Benitez. I think it was 06. I'm sure it was 06 by a point. And we were behind United. We lost it by a point to United. And all we needed to do, I know it's easy to say and it changes the history and it changes the future. Beating Stoke once gave us the points that we needed. That was the problem, and that's my feeling with Thomas Tuchel. Am I saying that Thomas Tuchel's the same level of Benitez?
Kind of.
Well, kind of. Kind of.
Like, can I just add on to what you're saying? Because
yeah, jump in.
Like Tuchel has never even shown a semblance in the Premier League that he is capable of getting anywhere near the Premier League title. I don't care. You can have the excuses. Like I understand them, and they are valid with injuries and all that. But he's never even come close. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was beating him to Champions League year in and year out. And we've never seen a cohesive attacking system. You could say, yes, we have. We've seen Reece James and Chilwell whip in crosses. They've never been near the attacking potential that they should have had. So I just understand where the hype comes from. I understand people getting excited, but this is what a Champions League can do to you, man. Like if Pep wins the Champions League this year and gets close to the title by 1 or 2 points or wins the title in the Champions League, we already know that Pep has all that. He has everything. Tuchel, you can't say the same. Like just because he won the Champions League, I've seen worse managers win the Champions League. I honestly have. Like I don't know.
Roberto Di Matteo's got a Champions League.
Why do his defenders always score? Even at PSG, why is it his defenders that bail him out? Have you noticed that it's still defenders scoring at Chelsea?
Koulibaly.
It's James. What's going on with Tuchel? Marquinhos, was it Marquinhos from PSG? Was one of his top goal scorers at PSG. I think he was scoring for him too. Like, why do defenders score for Tuchel? Why?
Kimpembe banged against us in the Champions League and saved their asses at Old Trafford. It happens all the time. It happens all the time.
Do they get pissed off? Like they say, "Oh, Tuchel, you can't coach these forwards. We're gonna do it ourselves." Because it looks like it's always defenders that bang for Tuchel. It's quite fascinating anyway.
No, it is. It's 100%. So as I say, I mean, that's it. I mean, there's no major surprises there. Arsenal got off to a good start, as I would have expected them to. City have got off to a very good start, like I expected to. Brentford got a great result against United. Do I think that, does it surprise me? A little bit. Does it shock me? No. Like, because of the way United were at the moment. Like, they just looked like a team who was capable of anything. Tottenham, I mean, were lucky against Chelsea. Very lucky. They were poor, really poor against Chelsea. Chelsea had their number for the whole match and somehow were able to snatch this point away from Chelsea. City, this is mad. I can't believe you've got a Barcelona friendly on the 24th of August. This is madness.
Your guys' run is
I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm sorry, Jesse, but sorry for cutting you, Jesse, but I don't get it. I don't get it. And I was saying to people, I was like, I have a feeling there's an agreement saying you have to play your stars because obviously it's a charity, so they want people to come in because they know people want to show up. I bet the first half will be full of our stars, and we've given up most the whole academy team, so it's gonna be our stars playing that game because the academy is gone. Remember, we've sold the EDS. Yeah. We're not playing under 16s, so. And Crystal Palace is a difficult game for us. We play Newcastle, right? Newcastle are going to give us a difficult game. Then after Newcastle, immediately, apparently, we get on a plane and go to Barcelona. Like, are you serious? Then after that, we come back and play Newcastle. Just watch. Wait.
Yeah, wait. I didn't even realize you guys were doing this. It is interesting because one of your saving graces for Holland, anyone who has Holland in their FPL team, one of the saving graces was there were 7 days between each game week. You know what I mean? So you started on the 7th, the 13th, then the 21st, and the 27th. I didn't know you guys had this friendly. I don't think Holland will play in it, obviously, but this is one of those. It's just one more fixture in your early schedule. There's no need for it either.
It was supposed to be done before the season started. Like, why did we play 2 preseason games? Why not add this to the preseason game? But you book this exactly. Like, that's the thing. Like, believe it or not, Dan and Jesse, we as City fans, we appreciate our board, we appreciate our owner, but our whole board is made out of Barcelona boys. And some of the agreements they make with Barcelona, you put your eye out and say, are you doing this for the benefit of Man City, or you're doing? Because I know it's a charity thing. Look, I'm also into charity, but you get where we're coming from as football fans, right? Yes, it's charity thing. We support it, but why don't you put it way before? Obviously, we're gonna find out exactly what's going on here. Somebody was saying there's gonna be an exchange mid-game. Bernardo Silva will go this side. Frankie De Jong. That would be funny, wouldn't that?
Wait, I wanted to hop on that stream so bad. It was just like ill timing. I wanted to hop on and just like give my full opinion, but like I said,
you mean the Barcelona fan was talking? I
was also watching your.
What? Are you expecting the lights to go off? But, oh my God, what's happened? And then all of a sudden they're on different shirts.
No, Dan, I had a Barcelona fan. He's a friend of mine, and I went and asked for Barcelona fans because there's a lot of them in the group. I do streams with them when I'm with HH. So some of them said they were work, so that's bad. But I like the podcast I started. I just want to be doing random stuff. Like sometimes just interview somebody randomly. I'll even interview a fellow podcaster. I have one set up already. But I was like, let me talk about Barcelona. And I was giving him genuine questions. But I was so happy to find out this guy was well prepped, Dan. He answered everything. He was well prepped to defend his club. Fair play to Abdu. Because what he told us is like he told us everything and he made his club look like they're not going to be saved. But he also admitted that he has a feeling that there's a feeling that if they don't win anything or succeed, things might not go up. But this is fishy. Guys, don't you find this fishy on the 24th?
Yeah, no, I find it fishy. I also hopped in at the exact moment when he said, I think Xavi is like sus. He was like, I'm not sure about him. Like right away, this guy, like I hopped in for 2 seconds there. I left a comment and I hung out for a little, like 5 minutes, but I had to go do stuff. But it was funny because the first thing he said was that this guy like he's under the microscope right now. So I think it's going to be fascinating to see how this works out. But
it is. It's going to be an interesting one. And just quickly going over there, Nottingham Forest, Villa, Tottenham, Wolves. Other than the Tottenham game, I think they're going to be okay. I think they'll be fine. I think that Tottenham match is going to be an interesting one. Conte bringing that anti-football to City. It's the antidote to Liverpool and Manchester City style of football. So that's going to be a very interesting one. Villa go one or two ways. I mean, if Villa are up for it, they show what they can do. But I don't see any.
If we spank Tottenham convincingly, then I will say I think we've gone to another level. Do you get what I mean, Dan? Because Tottenham give us trouble regardless what level we are. But if we spank them, because last time everybody was shouting in the media, oh, they need a striker. So if we end up going to we're playing against Tottenham, because they come to the Etihad with the A game all the time. If we end up beating them convincingly, I'll be like, maybe we are actually at another level this season. It's that Crystal Palace game too, because when Crystal Palace come to the Etihad, I don't know what they are on, but they come.
They're able to do it, aren't they? Yeah, 100%. Listen, boys, we've gone for our 90 minutes, so I think we'll come and wrap it up there. Listen, really, really enjoyed it. It's been a really good chat. Kind of gone over to a few bits and pieces, been a little bit of banter and a little bit of back and forth. We'll definitely do this again in a couple of weeks' time, just after the next 2 matches, see where things lie, if anything shocked us or surprised us. But listen, everyone who's tuned in, everyone who's watched, thank you very, very much. We really appreciate it. Pat, for jumping in, thank you so much. Obviously, always bring up some great stuff. Go and check out Pat, True City fan. Give him a like, give him some subscribe. Really good guys over there. Worth having a little listening to from the City perspective. But until Friday, with our Premier League preview show, we will See you then. Thanks very much. Give us a like, give us a subscribe, and we will see you next time. So everyone, thank you very much. Take care. Bye bye. See you now.